Do 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 do. That music just gets you pumped, doesn't it? Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. And we have audio, which always helps on a podcast or YouTube live stream, I find. And you are watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you would like to schedule a free consultation assessment with me, if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can do that by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. For my financial content, just scroll past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, and you'll see the Ramsey Show Aftershow playlist. Hey, that's this one. Today is number 580. What is going on here? We have a number discrepancy 2 days ago. Why is it out of order? All right, I'll look into that later. And they're answering your financial questions playlist as well. But today is number 587 of the After Show. Why is that? Is that the only one that's wrong? Out of order? That one's in the wrong playlist. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Also the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including How to Do the Baby's Lips Right. And that mentions several of the ways that people do it wrong for some reason. Even though it doesn't say to do things, they do things that it doesn't say to do in the baby steps. Market report. And S&P 500 and NASDAQ up, but it's an overall down market day. If you have equal shares in all of these, because 0.7 for the Russell Small Cap Index and negative 0.4 down for the Dow Jones after it hit a record yesterday. S&P 500 though and the NASDAQ in the green, and since that hit a new record yesterday, then that means a new record today if it stays in the green, if these two stay in the green. See what the rest of the planet is looking like. Mostly down in Europe. Mostly up in Asia. See what that US dollar is all about. Up against the euro. Up against the Japanese yen. Up against the British pound loaf. Up against the Canadian dollar. And making it a clean sweep against Australia. Might. Go to the ship on the Bobby. Oh, what else do we have? Oh, no earnings for in the next 14 days. I don't know if that's true. Maybe just no big ones. The most followed single stocks on the Google. This is basically the Magnificent 7, but without the NVIDIA. That's how I usually check that one separately. But we have the Google down 0.2%. Amazon barely down 0.083. Meta barely down 0.067. But the Tesla up 5.89%. And so how this works is if you had equal shares of all of these, you would be way up, because this 5% up, almost 6% up now, 5.96, that would easily take care of these losses here. And that is why you don't do single stocks. That's why you do mutual funds, and in retirement, managed mutual funds, because they can beat the index and you're not leaving money on the table. All right, let's look at the news, and when we do that, we'll scroll down and see what the NVIDIA is. Was that? Oh, this is from yesterday, I guess. That headline. Anything else? I'm gonna edit, not read it. Healthcare costs are soaring. Yeah, yeah. So much for the Affordable Care Act. Blame insurers, drug companies, and your employer. Well, yeah. And so again, why get involved with the Affordable Care Act? Why do that if it doesn't make it more affordable? Swatch takes a swipe at Trump's 39% tariff with switched up watch. Okay, it was switched up watch. So you're making a watch, ironically, to make a political point. That seems like a waste of resources, but hey, man, you can do whatever you want. AI's prophet of doom wants to shut it all down, and that that probably is not the worst idea. Probably. Civil War mentioned surge online after Kirk assassination. Yeah, I mean that's not good. AT&T tracked employee attendance to find freeloaders. Okay. Now it admits the system is driving workers to the brink of frustration. The system of tracking employee attendance. All right. Well, I mean, I feel like for me, if a business is paying you, that they have the right to know if you're there or not. Just saying. California trucking firms go under, fueling wider industry fears. Yeah, that logistics, man. Logistics, and anything that disrupts the flow of goods away from the California waters and into the rest of the country. Anything that delays that, that happened during the pandy. So that's not good. If Pepsi wants to win, it has to play Coke's game. Pepsi's not going to win. I don't think Pepsi's going to win. I mean, they'll stay in business, but I don't think they're ever going to win. Why would they after all this time? Where's the NVIDIA? Do we have it? Yeah, NVIDIA 0.61% up. So that makes this list even better. And let's see if it changed any. Google down a bit more now, and Amazon down a bit more. And so the whole thing could be coming down a little bit more. No, the NASDAQ staying up there, and the S&P 500 staying fairly, or just barely up, rather. All right. And we won't know. It could go, as always, any day, it could go either way towards the end of the day. Let's do some questions. After we click on the thumbs up, used to be in the middle and now it's on the far left. Are they changing things? I don't like change. Yeah, we talked about this one a little bit. Oh, and this is Insight Discern. Generally has nitpicky stuff about the baby steps. And so I don't know why bother, but let's see what this is about. The bridge account, and George supports having a bridge account. And what that bridge brokerage account is for is to make sure you have some money if you're going to retire early. Because you will have expenses during that time, and you don't want to take out your retirement funds because there will be a penalty if you are not, 59.5, I believe, is what that is. On the 9/5/25 show, a 25-year-old caller named Tyler mentioned about how you, is this you, Maddie Bags? I don't think it's Maddie Bags. But that's exactly what he would say, mentioned about. He used to say that all the time. How, if you invest in baby step 4, you can't access that money until 60. He was reluctant to do it, as he should be. That is for retirement at 59.5, and you know that going in. So, but that is still the advice, to save for that, and the advice is also to work until then as well. Retiring early is not the advice, but if you do, you will need a bridge account. That's just the facts of the situation. If you do it wrong and retire early. Let's see. George says, still invest in your 401k and Roth IRA. Yes. But throw anything additional in a taxable brokerage bridge account that you can access now for if you want to retire early or other things. I don't know about the other things part. But, and this would also be dependent on you being in step 7. You would not do this crap while you, and like try to retire early while you still have a mortgage payment. That's a no. And of course, definitely not if you are on the lower baby steps. In the past, I've heard Rachel talk about using sinking funds, but this is the first time I've heard them supporting the idea of a bridge account. No, they've talked about it before. You just didn't hear it. People are nutty with their little criticisms. My problem with the Ramsey plan, why watch then? Why post on here? You're dumb. Has always been less liquidity in baby step 4 through 6 when you're not 60. You don't need the money for anything. Or if you do, then you do a sinking fund for it. What is the problem? I've had this idea of having a miscellaneous sinking fund and a brokerage account in baby step 4 through 6 for this very reason. Yeah, you don't have that. A miscellaneous sinking fund is not you being intentional. That's the opposite of you being intentional. Having money just in case I decide to retire early, just in case I see something I want to buy, just in case some investment comes up. That's not the Ramsey idea. The Ramsey idea is that you are taking care of baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and you do your other dumbass crap in baby step 7 is the idea. And so what don't you understand about that? Now it is Ramsey supported and part of what they agree with. What are your thoughts on that? So no, the advice is still not to retire early. They just tell you what to do if you insist on retiring early. So you're dumb, and you're just like that dumbass financial coach that called trolling and made up what George had in his video about the 4%. This is the same kind of bullcrap. Dumb. So, and if you really don't, what? How did that go back to? That's weird. Normally, if I open a link into another tab, it won't go back anywhere because it treats that one as new, I think. All right. I dealt with it, though. We're fine. Anyway, but dumb. Quit being dumb. Insight discern. You're dumb. Playing 091. Not sure what next steps to take. Well, they're right here. These would be the steps you take. Every step you take. Now, why didn't I do that for a baby step song? I wonder. Never occurred to me, maybe. A little backstory. 34-year-old married, 3 kids under 6. We have been in our starter home since 2014 and have just outgrown it completely. Is this the person that just called today? Or actually it was yesterday's show? The young lady that called, and actually young, in late 20s, I think, and is pregnant with their 4th child, but they don't have any money for down payment. She wanted to do two things with money. Wanted to buy a larger house, and also they have a minivan with a sus transmission, so the transmission might have to get repaired. And so they don't have any extra money saved up other than emergency fund, and they were going to use the emergency fund for both of those things. And so that's a no. That's a no house. So after talking about a house for about at least 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, Dave was like, "Oh, this is easy. And there's no house." And so I think the lady will probably still try to buy a house, even though Mr. Ramsey said no. Let's see. Yeah, the house in the yard. We have a vision for our family of a yard where kids can play and get back to nature a bit more. Yeah, I mean, this could be the same person, but very similar anyway. We currently owe 70K on our house at 3% and 11 years, left on it? Everything worth a dang in our area is around 500K. Yeah, well then, you probably don't make enough money to live there then, in that area. Except in the house that you're in now. We do well financially? Apparently not if you can't afford a $500,000 house, honey. And all our debts are the mortgage and 55K in student loans. Okay, you would not buy a house when you're on baby step 2 because you have the student loans. You're doing it wrong. Shouldn't even have the house that you have already. Gross intake is around 160K annual. So 160 and 160, that's 320 and 80. Hey, guess what? That is a $400,000 mortgage, so you have to have $100,000 for down payment. We really want out of this house. I don't care, you can't afford it. But is signing up for a 3K house note and additional yard expense really the right move versus having a $700 note today? And you mean payment. That's not the amount of the note. That's the amount of the payment each month. So no, that's not the right move to do that. Yeah, see, when you want to buy more expensive things, you have to have more money. And you don't bring in enough money to live in this area, apparently. Otherwise, you would have already gotten it and you wouldn't be on here complaining about it. Brilliant day, 5054. Pause on baby step 4. Please send advice. Yes, there are times where you would do that. You would do that in stork mode or storm mode if there's some kind of emergency, or you're pregnant. You would do that. What's another way? You can also pause on baby step 4 for up to 2 years to save a larger down payment faster. So those would be the things that you can do. Hi, Ramsey fam. I'm needing some guidance. We'll see if I already answered it. My husband and I on baby step 4. As soon as we got married, we hit the ground running. What was that? All-Star. On paying off 180K of debt. Great. Came debt free in January, and we have since saved up a 6-month emergency fund. We're now in baby step 4, and I feel stuck. Why? Because you can't do everything all at once. We used to be a dual income, no kids family. I knew what it meant. Which is why we were able to get these steps finished so quickly. But I'm now pregnant. Exclamation point. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, that does happen. I'm halfway through my pregnancy now, and we're trying to save for this baby. That is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pause on step 4, and you send minimums to all debt if you're still paying off debt, but I think you're done with debt. You said you're in step 4, so good. So you just pile up cash. So yeah, you would stop investing. For the birth and having to buy all the first time baby gear. Well, you don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to buy things that the baby does not need. So diapers approved, definitely buy those. But do you need to buy a $500 changing station? No, you can do that on the floor or on a table or other surface in your house. On top of this, I lost my job. Boop, boop, boo doo. So we're not doing anything. And on top of that, one of our dogs just got diagnosed with diabetes and his monthly medical bill. Yeah. Where is it? Are absolutely insane? Yeah. And you might have to make a hard decision on that, depending on the dog's age, etc., etc. I feel like, for me, we're drowning. Yeah, it's just because you want to do so many things at the same time. How about you just pile up cash and have the baby? I understand your income is down since you lost a job, but try to see if there's something you can do. You're halfway through, so that would be what? That would be about 4 months, 4 or 5 months in. And so you got 4 months maybe to go. So you can try to make it through there, or you can try to do something as far as bringing money in any way you can. Let's say our home payment used to be quarter of our take-home pay, and now it's a half, and we are drowning. Right. So you see, if you get a mortgage that's a quarter of your take-home pay when both are working, if one stops working, yeah, it becomes too much house. And so if that's going to be the problem for the foreseeable future, and you won't be able to get a job and work again after baby comes, then you got to sell that house. That's too much house. You guys don't make enough money. Yeah, officially house poor. Yeah. You already were. You just have one job away from being house poor. So, and that's the problem with that. That's the same thing about people that take out student loans and they figure, oh, okay, well, as soon as I graduate, which doesn't always happen either. But yeah, as soon as I graduate, I'll get that job, and that part doesn't always happen. Even if you do graduate, I'll get that job, making a lot of money, and then I'll be able to pay this off. Yeah, but what if you don't get the job? What if you don't graduate? Then you owe all that money. And it's the same thing with the house. So you might have to sell that bad boy. Let's see. It just depends on if you are going to go back to work or not. Or if a husband can get a part-time job. Maybe. And you can find a way to bring some money in. Maybe work from home or something like that. We worked for so long to become debt-free. No vacations, no restaurants, nothing fun. Right. Again, and this is nobody's fault except your own. So trying to find somebody to blame or something to blame, don't blame Mr. Ramsey for it. You are still in better shape by not having any debt. You are in better shape for this. For so long. Waited so long. And right as we got out of that, we are having to do it again. Well, this is the timing of the pregnancy. And this is the timing of you losing the job. Okay, who do we want to blame that on? We don't make enough currently to save for vacation. Hey, vacation should be the furthest thing from your mind. People are so dumb. Oh my goodness gracious me. Even hashtag mentioning a vacation is ludicrous. No investments, no retirement, no eating out, etc. We clearly have an income problem right now. Yes, when you go down from 2 incomes to 1, that is going to be an income problem. Especially if you worked out your life to where it relied on both incomes. Maybe you should have not bought that much house. What do you think Dave would recommend for us? You're going to have to go back to work. And that may not work very well with the cost of childcare today. That may be a net negative if you do that. So you might have to stay home. And that means home might have to not be in this house. You may have to sell it and rent something very cheaply. I can't even begin to think about saving 15% for retirement. Yeah, you're not on baby step 4. You're on stork mode, and so you're just piling up cash because we're just trying to survive month to month without touching our emergency fund. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. It's so tight. Yeah, because one of your two incomes is gone. What don't you understand about that? Why is it, oh no, and I can't believe that that's what happens when you lose one job. That comes with it. You don't have to explain it all. I know how it works. Um it's so tight that I have even said I'm willing to give up some prenatal care to help pay for other essentials, which clearly I can't do. Please help. Yeah, you would cut that budget to the bone. You do not buy anything that's not 100% essential. Prenatal care, I would say, would be essential. Any other dumb crap, movie subscriptions, any other dumb crap you can cut out. Shouldn't be any eating out, nothing. Nothing. You need to be working and doing something from home. Try to find something to do from home. Try to find stuff in your house that you can sell that you're not using. Anything that's worth anything. If you have a car, maybe you sell the car. You don't need the car if you're not going to work. For reference, I was a full-time career nanny. The family I worked with for years no longer needed me as the kids aged out of full-time care. And let me guess, you never had a single thought about, oh, these kids are not going to need a nanny eventually. What am I going to do then? Yeah, normal people just go about their lives and don't think about the important things like that. Or maybe you did, but you didn't put enough thought into it. I tried my hardest to find another full-time job. Did you, though? But understandably, the majority of families want a long-term nanny. Oh, with the baby coming, I would only be short-term. Yeah. Go to a temp agency and try to get some work that way. And that has made it difficult to find other positions, but I've been working this part-time nanny job as well as random part-time nanny positions that are not consistent. That's better than nothing. So that part's good. I'm also door dashing on the side just to bring in a little something extra. Okay, that's great. As long as you're making money on it. Not everybody will make money on DoorDash. But as long as you're making money on it, yeah, keep doing that. And so, yeah, keep busting ass. And everything I am currently bringing in is going towards saving for the baby. Okay? Because you are supposed to just pile up cash. And so, yeah, you do that. And you do without everything that you can do without. Stop spending money. And you do have to come up with you and your husband, not you by yourself, but you and your husband need to come up with a plan. And the best course of action may be to sell the house. The problem you get into with that is that a lot of times, and it depends on the area, the rent may be more than the mortgage payment. So you guys got to look at that. But you don't need to get confused about it saying baby step 4 until you replace that job with equal pay, which may not be enough if you're talking about childcare too. Until you address that situation and fix that situation, you're not on baby step 4. You're not going to do any investing. So there's no investing. So investing should be the last thing on your mind. Okay, first we got to get this baby out healthy. That's first thing. And then secondly, you have to be now, but start talking about it now, what you plan on doing long term and a way to be able to afford staying in this house and any other expenses that you have on just his salary, I guess, and whatever else you can make. So yeah, it's not fun, but it's all on yourself. You did not think ahead in this situation. And nobody does. It's the same thing like I was saying with student loans. Everybody thinks, oh, I'll just graduate for sure. Not everyone does. And then I'll be able to get a good job in my field. Not everyone does. And then I won't want to stay home with my babies. Or I won't hate the job. Nobody thinks like that. It works out when people think about this stuff. It works out 100% of the time. Yeah, I'll take the student loans and then I'll be able to pay it off as soon as I get the job, and I'll pay it off really quickly. And then, yeah. So, no student loans, kids. No loans at all. Simple mortgage for a house that you live in, and even then, you can't trust that will be okay forever if you base it on a 2-income household, and then all of a sudden it goes down to 1 income. Another one, pause on, oh no, that's the one we did, Brilliant Day 5054. Some strategy 3034, small biz owner, buy house cash. Yes. That is the advice. If it's a rental property, then that is the only way that you would buy that. You would buy your residence with cash too, if you can. If not, Mr. Ramsey is fine with you getting a mortgage on that, but no mortgages or debt at all on any business stuff. That's a NAR. From Mr. Ramsey, 33 man, small business owner, tree service and excavation, estimated net worth excluding my business for businesses $4 million, including the businesses and conservative valuations $10 million. Business is pretty light on debt. It should be 0 debt. You're doing it wrong. Mr. Ramsey is not only the no debt guy, he's the no debt leverage guy. So you're doing it wrong. And so if you want a debt leverage, why are you on the Dave Ramsey subreddit? That seems illogical to me, sir or madam. Has been cash flowing $800K to $1.2 million annually for 4 or 5 years now. Great. Congratulations. I have some rental properties with mortgages that cash flow $200K in stocks, and just enough single stocks, about $2.2 million in cash. If I have several big real estate deals close in the last 2 months, hence all the cash. I'm buying a forever home from a client. Forever homes are BS. You don't know what the future holds. You might not stay in that house forever. Stop being dumb. Forever home is often a justification station. Stop. Forever home from a client for just under $2 million. Do I buy the home in cash? Yes. Do I continue to invest the cash and buy it with 20 to 25% down? No. I know what Dave Ramsey says. Well, then that should be the end of your sentence right there. This is the Dave Ramsey subreddit. This isn't the, this is called Dave Ramsey, but if you want financial bro advice, you can come here too. It doesn't say that on there. It just says r/Dave Ramsey. So you're being dumb and you're being a dumbass. And so stop being a dumbass. But I'm curious how this changes given I own businesses. That doesn't matter. Business stuff is not done with debt. You're stupid. I know you're successful, but that's still stupid. You would not do that. You would not have a pile of cash in one hand and then say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to debt leverage here. I'm going to do that. Because also Mr. Ramsey is the no risk guy, and the more you debt leverage, the more risk it is. So that's why he says don't debt leverage at all. So yes, buy it cash or not at all. It's a business. Actually, it's not a business thing. It's your residence, but you do have the cash, so you do that. That's the same dumb crap that like even poors do. Like they'll have $20,000 worth of savings and also, finance a car. That's dumb. Why don't you use the cash to buy a car? Dumb. Okay, length 11115. How do I make money on my day off? My only day off. Well, you would have to get some kind of job that doesn't require you to be there more than that day, probably. Or you can work there 8 hours on your day off and perhaps, 4 hours part-time on other days when you're working your other job. And that's what I did. The computer shop was closed on Saturday and Sunday, and so I worked more than 4 hours at Menards. That's one of the big hardware stores like Lowe's or Home Depot. It's here in the Midwest, and so I worked there the 4 hours before I started my computer repair job during the week. And then I worked there more hours, anywhere from 5 generally to 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday. And so you would get a deal, something kind of deal like that, or as I said, you just do it that one day, or find something you can do from home that one day. I want to have money to splurge. Well, that would not be the advice to do that, to just splurge money on it. You should do it to increase your financial status, to make your finances better. If it needs to be. It depends on what baby step you're on. So if you're on baby step 2, you're not splurging the extra money. The extra money goes to pay off debt. For example, to go out and buy something if I want to. The thing is, most of my income is savings, likely 75 to 80%. Well, that's up to you doing that much in saving. I don't want to have to dip into it, that as it will go towards retirement. Okay, well, I get one day off a week, but I hate being at home when I don't have what I want, such as jewelry, clothes, and a nicer car. Okay, so you working one day isn't going to allow you to buy a nicer car. See, first of all, you got to be realistic as well. I was thinking about working my only day off, but I don't know what I could do. Ideally cash, as I don't want to climb a tax bracket. I live in the Dallas metro area. Yeah, I don't want to climb a tax bracket, so ideally cash. Shut up. See, you're the one that wants to do something here, but then you don't want to accept the ramifications around it. That is illogical, and that is dumb as crap. So guess what? You might go up a tax bracket, but it will still be a net gain. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. Or you, of course, can just be dumb. Didn't say what baby steps, so the savings might not be in line anyway. If you have any debt, you would not be doing savings. Green ad 6916 question. Not sure about this step. Well, I am. I'll be glad to enlighten you. But I think I want to become a financial advisor, planner for people in debt. Yeah, I remember previewing this question. How would I make this work? How much could I charge? I know there are a few certifications out there. I need direction. You can charge whatever you want. And that is even financial coaching is a big range. And so it would depend on if you're going to be a financial coach, if that's what you're talking about, or if you're an actual financial advisor and planner. That might be a thing where you charge people, like if you're recommending investments, you would be taking a percentage of what you make for the client. Or you can do a flat fee, either one of those. But how would you make this work? It should probably be a better plan than, but I think I want to become a financial advisor / planner for people in debt. People in debt do not need financial advice and planning. They need maybe a financial coach. They need the baby steps is what they need. So you're thinking about it wrong here. And so, yeah, you can get different certifications for all of that stuff. But which you could just Google, how do I become a financial advisor planner? The financial coaching is a different thing. And that same dumb troll that is a Ramsey Solution certified financial coach, but he like on his website he posts the baby step, and he changed the step one to $1,000 to $3,000. So he's like doing his own thing there, but why he wanted to. Maybe it was just for YouTube views. I don't know why he wanted to troll because then after he called and made the big deal about the lying about what George had in his video, and Dave got upset about it. And then he made, I think at least one video, maybe two, about that. And so he probably got some views for it. So maybe it worked out for him. Don't know. But again, I mean, if you don't believe in the Ramsey advice and all of it, I don't know why you would become a Ramsey Solution certified financial coach. I don't know why you would do that. But of course, people are nutty, especially troll people like that person. Anyway, the words you're using, I'm not sure about this step, but I think I want. Okay, so you should have your crap more together, I would think, if you're trying to be a financial advisor planner for people in debt, or for any people for that matter. You should have your act more together, and like know things instead of I think I want to become a blah, as wishy-washy. Nobody wants a wishy-washy financial advisor. But how would you even make it work? How would you charge? Like I said, charges a range. How would you make it work? You would definitely learn more about it, and by learning more about it, I mean, like if it's the Ramsey financial coaching that you want, you would contact them about that. If it is being actual financial advisor / planner, you could Google that and see what's involved in that instead of asking dumbasses on the subreddit. And 5 days ago, and got 4 comments. Hopefully those helped. But yeah, this sounds a little. You don't sound like you have your crap together. How are you supposed to help other people get their crap together? So, I mean, and I don't know. I'm just going by just the wording, the phrasing on this particular question. I don't know. The person could be fine. Who knows? But again, Google more, subreddit, Dave Ramsey subreddit less for a lot of these people. Chonner? No. Seabonner. It's a B. Right? Yeah, it's a B. Debt payoff plan. Winning baby step 2. What would be the best approach to tackling old charged off debts? Collection debts go last. It's smallest to largest, except for anything already in collections. That goes to the end. And except for IRS debt, that goes to the beginning, in front of the smallest debt. Do I focus on eliminating all current consumer debts? Yes. Then focus on the old charged off ones? Yes. Imagine that. Now, what made you think about that? Did you hear that on the Ramsey show? Then that's the answer. Or line up everything from smallest to largest. No, you don't have to. You already asked the question. You don't need to give us all the options of the things to do. Here are the things to do. Obviously, if you're not doing the current debt and then later focusing on the old charged off ones, we know what the opposite of that is. Would be doing the debt snowball on all of it. We know that. So nutty. Illogical. Regardless of current or past due steps, just want to make sure I'm making the right decision. Thanks in advance. There's no D on thanks in advance, is the saying. So you got that wrong as well. But yeah, you would put collection debt to the end of it. Now, during your baby step 2 journey, if at any point you contact them or they contact you, and you can settle it for an amount that you have saved. Like, say, for example, you are getting ready to pay off a smaller debt, and if they will be able to settle for the amount that you were going to send to the smaller debt, and this collection debt is a much larger amount, but they will settle for what you have in cash, you can feel free to do that at that time. But otherwise, if you don't contact them and they don't contact you and, try to negotiate something, then you just do it at the end. And you can wait to the end, even if they do contact you or you contact them, you can still wait till the end. Electronic Juice 8383, new job 401k help needed. Hi everyone, hi guys. My daughter graduated university. Remember back in the day, we used to say a thing called graduated college. And of course, I understand university, that would be more a European thing. Uni in May, and she has a new job that pays $84K a year. Her company's 401k will match up to 6%. Okay. They also offer a Roth option in addition to the standard 401k. Okay. She would like to take advantage of these benefits. How much should she set aside to take advantage of both options? She doesn't set it aside. Do you not understand how it works? Do you not? Maybe that's why 401k is needed. Dad doesn't understand it himself. She may understand it better than you do. Maybe. I don't know. But you don't set it aside to take advantage of both options. And the advice is match first, so you would do that 6%, but if they have a Roth option, you would prioritize the Roth option. And so she would put the money, the 6%, or a lot of times they do something weird, like we'll match up to 50% of funds up to 6%. So basically that would just be like a 3% match there. But people, they do it, I don't know why they started doing that crap where it says, oh, we'll do 50% of your 6%, probably to get you to put more in, and then they don't have to put as much in on the match part. But see, here's the thing, you have to put the match portion into the standard 401k. So you would have both, but you would fill up she would make all the contributions into the Roth 401k. Now what is it? The 457 or 437? 457B, I believe is what it's called. And that's in the government. Now they are allowed to put match in the Roth option as of the Secure 2.0 Act, but on a 401k, we can't do that. It also depends on the brokerage. If the brokerage requires it to be to not be in the Roth option, them putting the match in the Roth option, or if the company plan. If your company can decide, well, that we need that to be in the standard 401k instead. And so you would still be basically maxing out the Roth option completely before you personally put anything in the standard 401k, also known as the traditional 401k. So it's a match, Roth, traditional is the order of priority there. And so even doing the 6% match, which is the number one priority, that can go in the Roth account, those contributions. Now, when they do the 6%, or if it's like most, which is 50% of up to 6%, that would only be 3%, and that would go into the standard 401k. But maybe it's not like that. Maybe it is actually 6%, and I hope it is, because that would be better. I think it's dumb to do it like that. Otherwise, just do 3%. But Having it be 50%, that's a way to get you to put more in, of course. Which you would be putting it more in there to begin with. And so also, if she makes a lot of money and would max out the Roth 401k, then she can additionally open a Roth IRA. And you may want to do that anyway if the investment choices in the Roth 401k suck. If it does, then you would just do the match contributions first, and then you would go to Roth IRA and do your better investments in the Roth IRA and max that out completely, and then go back to the Roth 401k. At a minimum, I know she needs to contribute 6% in the 401k to attain the company match. Right. Any thoughts? Thanks in advance. I explained it to you. You are welcome. Pure awareness 7651. Help, please. Okay. I'd love some help on how to navigate a car situation. First rule of thumb here, first advice is do not have a car situation. We're struggling financially, so that probably means sell the car. My husband is the breadwinner. As we have young kids, I stay home with. We are locked into the most affordable living option in our area. Is it though? Is it though? People lie about this stuff so much because they've convinced themselves that it's the truth. It could be that instead of we're locked into the most affordable living option in our area, meaning that's the lowest amount, the lowest acceptable living situation for them. Maybe you don't make enough money to live in that area. We only spend fun money on our kids. What's killing the budget is our car payment. Sell the car. We leased a new car a few years ago. Get out of the lease. Yes, I'm aware this was a huge mistake, right? And so what we do is we get out of huge mistakes by undoing it, and that means you sell it or pay whatever you got to pay to get out of the lease. This was done out of desperation partially. It doesn't matter. It was dumb. Needed a new car. No, you did not need a new car. No, you could have bought a used car cash. Could have bought a beater. And I guess we got talked into it making more sense than spending all our money on a used car. I guess it felt like a safer option. Well, that was BS. Lady, assuming. Oh, good. There's a lot more. Obviously, looking back, I wish I had made a different decision. Right. Well, it's not too late. You get out of that now, and any money that it costs you is called stupid tax, and that's supposed to incentivize you to not be dumb anymore. Anyways, we bought out the lease. Oh, great. Now about $25,000 with a very high monthly payment. Buying out the lease might have not been the best thing to do. You probably should have sold it. We have about $7,000 to $8,000 saved. However, with selling our car, we'd have to pay the negative equity. In addition to the $25,000, yeah, you definitely did it wrong. So what you should have done is sold it and bought out the lease at the same time, I believe is how that works. I've been getting into Ramsey recently. Yeah, I wonder why. Because you were dumb as crap with a money decision. That's how it happens most of the time. That's how it happened for me. And with this new information, I felt some urgency to sell this car and find something more sustainable financially so we can get out of this cycle. Yes, I guess I'm worried to lose our whole savings. You should not have $7,000 to $8,000 saved. I don't know how new you are to Mr. Ramsey, but they have a little thing called the baby steps. And oh, look, what does step 1 say? Save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. It does not say $7,000 to $8,000, does it, lady? No, it does not. And so, just like with the dumbass car you should have never leased, you bought out the lease, and so that's part of it, but the rest of it is you sell it. And so you just like you undid that, you undo the dumb crap you're doing now of having savings while you have debt. You only have $1,000 in savings while you're on baby steps 1 and 2. Having 1 cent more than $1,000 starts in baby step 3. You're not on that yet. You're doing it wrong. Or not quite be able to afford paying off the negative equity and also buy a new car. If this is a second car, you can do without it for a little while you figure it out. Please, no judgment. I'm judging. It's dumb as crap. Yeah, I know this is a dumb decision, but it's done now. I'm living with the consequences, right? But you need to give yourself crap about it, just like I'm giving you crap about it, so you don't do that dumbass BS anymore. I guess the other, and now you don't justify any other dumb crap in your life either. I guess the other option is just keeping this car forever and eventually it gets paid off. No, that's not an option. That shouldn't be an option. $25,000 is too much. And how did you do that? So you bought out the lease. Does that mean you just called the lease people and said, okay, we'll just buy it out, and so now you owe the same people that you were paying the lease payments to? Is that what that was? And no, that's not what you do. You sell it and buy out the lease at the same time. So you did it wrong. I mean, getting rid of the lease part definitely needed to be done, but also the selling should have been done at the same time. After that, run it the heck into the ground. No, and that's your justification station to keep a car too, is people say, that's just like saying it's our forever home. You're saying it'll be our forever car until it dies. That's dumbass justification station as well. Thank you so much if you read this far. I did. It's kind of the content for my show. My parents never taught me about finances. Mine did tell me about finances, but it was the wrong stuff. It was stuff like you'll always have a car payment, you'll always be on debt, and they were incorrect, I'm happy to say. And I don't have many people in my life I can go to about this kind of this. Okay. It's very important to me that we start being able to save more money and work towards financial freedom. Okay, right. And you can't do that while you still have this vehicle. Again, the buying out the lease should have happened at the same time of you selling it to another person. And that way you wouldn't owe $25,000. You might owe $5,000 or something. Depends on how long ago you bought the car and how much it's depreciated. Why'd you go ahead and make things depreciated? That would be a fun song, wouldn't it? You shouldn't lease your car because it will get depreciated. It's still the early days of that. We'll see if that becomes a thing. BKK Matt, should I roll over? Roll over is 2 words. If you do A, funds from parent 529 to grandparent 529, why? Just thinking with the new rules of the grandparent 529 not being considered an asset, we not only want to exclusively fund that account, but also transfer rollover all the current parental funds to that account. If the 529s are in the same state, Indiana, does that make the rollover seamless and tax-free? I do not know about that. So you would have to check on the rules on that. Generally, that would be a NAR, the way they make rules. But the 529 rules are different from state to state. And so it depends on what the Indiana state rules on the 529 would be. But like for example, if it's not two things, because with the parent one, you it is considered an asset, I guess. So you probably can't just roll over something that's considered an asset to something that's not considered an asset. They probably don't let you do that. Or you would have to pay like taxes on it or something like that. I don't know. Or pay X amount of money in order to, based on what amount you're transferring. Excuse me, over to that. So that's just a guess that you can't do that. Just because and because of the it not being considered an asset. That's just a guess. Italian blend. Any former teachers here? I'm sure there are. Did you have a second career or a retirement career? I'm sure some did. Curious if any of you former teachers, and did you transition to another career or slower retirement job? My ex-wife is a teacher, and as far as I know, she doesn't have anything planned for a retirement career. I guess she'll find a job if she needs to. Has anyone transitioned to a financial job like bookkeeping or financial advisor? It's interesting that Dave says that teachers are one of the most wealthiest positions in the world. I've been teaching for 23 years and would like to envision a future that isn't quite so busy. I work 60 plus hours a week with having a second job, and I'm so fortunate to have refinanced my mortgage during the pandy to a 15-year mortgage. Otherwise, I'd have to keep this pace up for 30 years. Well, you can lower the pace by selling your house and moving down in house if you bought too much house. But yeah, it's teachers are not the wealthiest positions in the world, but they are number 3 on the list of on the millionaire study that they did. They're number 3 on the, as far as highest, those millionaires came in third. Teacher came in third place as their occupation. And doctor and lawyer did not make the top 10 of that. And so it's more on that. A big deal of it is Dave also says that it's because teachers have to like do a lesson plan, so they are like regimented. They're like have plans in place, and so they're more structured than normal people, than non-teachers. But also, it's, if you're a teacher, you have to contribute to your retirement. You have no choice in it. And so that would be why, because they make you do that. You don't have a choice in that, so you do need to do that. And that sucks in baby step 2, because then you don't have that extra funds to pay off debt. And so that happened to us, because she had to contribute to retirement, but we still made it in under 3 years. So fun times. Mine crime 950 PAL rental or house. You would sell the rental to pay off the house, so you would do both at the same time. Looking, getting some advice / perspective. Background, married couple with 2 young children. See, none of that matters. None of this matters. Doesn't change the advice. People are nutty. Both work in tech. Combined household income $500,000 a year. Okay, expenses don't matter. 2 loans remaining. The rental property, $250K left on the mortgage, and our primary with $640K left on the mortgage. Question: which to pay off first? You sell the rental property, and then you pay off the mortgage. If it's not quite enough, then you would not have the mortgage payment on the rental property any longer, and so you could add that to your snowballing, the your extra that you're putting on the mortgage. Leaning towards primary home as it's our forever home. That's BS, like I said. Like the peace of mind knowing it's free and clear. That will take 2.5 more years. Yeah, so that is not the advice. The advice, again, is to not do that. You undo the dumbass debt leveraging that you did by even buying the rental at all while you still have your residence mortgage payment. And also that you used debt for business expense, which the mortgage is, and so there's no mortgage on rental properties per the Ramsey advice. So you got two things you're doing wrong here. So you fix both of them by selling the rental and paying off the house. And then if you still want to be a landlord, then you buy the next rental property in cash. That will take 2.5 more years. No, I'm doing it today or very soon. I don't know how much. Doesn't say much equity, which would actually be something that would be needed. We get to know all about the children. That doesn't change the advice on on whether you do pay off the rental or the house. And of course, that's not your two options are not the right options. And as Mr. Ramsey often does, he's like, no, these are not the only two options, and here's what you should do instead as the third option. But see, people don't want to do that. I'm sure this person doesn't want to do that because they were dumb and used debt leverage to begin with. Because the rental route that can be paid in full by May of 2026, and we no, again, that's a no, because that's still debt leverage, and you wouldn't continue to debt leverage. So that's a no. Lago, MKV, what high yield savings account do they recommend? I don't know that they recommend any. They recommend a high yield savings account, but they don't tell you what bank to put it in. Just finished paying my truck, looking to put what I have left in the high yield savings account. No, you wouldn't do that. You would apply it to whatever baby step you're on. If it's baby step 3 now, the emergency fund, they are fine with you putting it in a high yield savings account, but I don't recommend that because emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for that transfer from the high yield savings account bank, which normally would be online and not in your hometown where you could just walk in there and get it. Or if it's the weekend. Not sure where to look. Where does this team recommend? Not one particular bank. They have the studio is now sponsored by Fairwinds Credit Union, but I don't know that they necessarily have a good high yield savings account with as high interest as you could get online somewhere. My pal Sid likes Ally. So she has hers. Ideally, I just want the account. I don't want to have multiple accounts with the bank just to access their high yield, right? That's not generally a problem anywhere, I don't think. Also, what are some tips and things to look out for when choosing an online bank? Read all the fine print for sure. But especially, I mean, what would be the best thing to do would be have the high yield savings account plus have either or check writing privileges or a debit card to that high yield savings account, but most do not offer that. Let's do one more. Million stories. That's too many. We don't have time for that. What is the spending habit do you struggle with? How do you combat it? For me, it's impulse spending. What I do to combat it is wait 24 to 48 hours before wanting to buy something. No, that's not what you're doing. It's illogical. We'll talk about that in a second. And then I can determine what I will actually use rather than just buying the trendy thing that I won't use on the spot. Okay, so no, you want it right now. So you mean you wait 24 to 48 hours before allowing yourself to buy it, and that means you're being an adult by being able to control that. And so good job on that. And yeah, where you do that, and a lot of people do that. Rachel Cruz says she does that. She puts things in the Amazon cart all the time, and then doesn't buy them. So, but a spending habit that I struggle with, and so that's great that you are able to do that, and hopefully, it sounds very logical what you're saying here, that you determine what you actually use rather than buying the trendy thing that you won't use on the spot. But also, you don't have to buy even things that you will use. And so, yeah, I don't think I have any spending habits that are bad. Like everybody, I could cut out some things. I mean, I got canes yesterday, and I could have just had chicken nuggets at home. But once you're on step 4, you can go out to eat. You can get, and of course, I did my normal thing where I go get it. I don't have it delivered because then you don't have to tip, and so that's my tip, not having to tip. And so I went to go get it, and then I get it without the drink, and that saves $1. And because for $1.25, I get a 2 liter of the Kroger brand Diet Coke. It's called Diet K, Diet Big K. Zero sugar or zero sugar. They have both. They have Coke, Big K, zero sugar, or Diet Big K. I'm fine with either of those because they're out of one or both of them sometimes. Um, but yeah, have a spending habit that I struggle with. Yeah, I don't think I have one. I'll try to keep in mind that if it's something that like or something that I would spend too much money on. I mean, I do something that's intentional, and this is one of my splurges that I always get an apartment that has a washer and dryer in the unit. Because I don't want to be sharing no, I don't want to be sharing space with other people. I don't like people that much, and so definitely not their clothes washing time. I don't want to intermingle with that. So, but that's like a planned, intentional thing. So that would be one of the things that I splurge on. When I get a new computer, I don't go crazy with it. Um, I do still try to get the best deal, but probably I spend about $1,000 on it. And but that's going to be with a probably at least a mid range at the time uh, video card, a decent video card that'll play all the newer games, that kind of thing. And so that generally runs $1,000. And the last time I bought a computer was, and it's still fine, it should be for at least a few more years, was 3 years ago now, I think. So, and it should be fine. Eventually, there will come a game out where it will come a game. There will be a game that I won't be able to play with it, and so at that point, it would be time to start looking at a new one, and then of course I could sell the current one and defray some of the cost as well. So that would be maybe something some people would consider a splurge. But $1,000 for a new computer isn't really that expensive. Trying to think of anything else that I spend too much money on. I don't make like clothes and stuff like that. I know I have a lot of Ohio State shirts, but I most of those I don't think I bought any of them. I think they were all like gifts, or something like that. I don't think I bought any of them. Um, yeah, probably. I mean, spent too much on CDs, obviously, DVDs. Have a few Blu-rays as well. I do need to sell all that stuff as well, but been too lazy. Cause you gotta do I mean, cause the places online that'll buy them, just cents each, and so really not worth it. But I mean, I guess they're not getting any more valuable either. So till then, I guess I'll just carry them around with me from apartment to apartment. I am moving to a better apartment in next month. About a month and a day tomorrow. After only a year here, moving to a much better apartment. And it will have a washer and dryer inside it, I assure you. And it is right across the street from my job that I got after moving back to Columbus. Anyway, I'll try to keep an eye on like any other things. I'll check my bank account to see if there's anything else I spent. I do EA Play Pro, which is $120. Almost went into a little upspeak there, which is $120, making it sound like a question. But that's $120 a year. But that does get me the new Madden game every year, Madden football game every year, and the best, the like the $70-$80 version of it. That gets me that. And so basically, if I play that game and any other EA Play game throughout the year, that's if I would have bought both games, that would be over the price of the $120 that the EA Play Pro. I guess that would be a subscription that I have. But yeah, I'll keep an eye out for if there's anything else that I do without being aware of it. I would think I would be aware of it as much as I look at my budget and so forth. But yeah, I'll take a look. I'll do it right after the show. I will take a look at the my bank account and see what's up with that. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Tomorrow, the Ohio State Buckeyes are welcoming the Ohio University Bobcats into Ohio Stadium to play a football game, and that's going to be at night. I think that's at 7 o'clock, and I normally do a 8 p.m. stream on Saturday. So that will move to 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And so that is in the ticker below. Yeah. Alrighty. So that is, I babbled a while. That's going to be almost an hour and a half show. Bonus, huh? And so tomorrow we'll talk about, should I repair my car or use the payout for a new one? My name is Paul, and that's between y'all. That's probably, when I say y'all, I mean probably you and your mechanic, unless you know enough about cars. There's an update for this one. Father passed, and mother has $40K in credit card debt from all of his medicines. Personal loan or debt. I think this changed spots. I think we already talked about that one. So, wife says you checked all flights, but didn't and overpaid. Beep, 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 doo. Well, she lied then, dog. And so you guys need to have a talk about that. Why did she lie? Just lazy or what? So we'll get into all that. We'll read all the sordid details. And of course, as always, on Reddit and on the Ramsey show, almost always anyway, every so often the spouse will be there and can chime in. But most of the time you only hear one side of the story. Alrighty, once again, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, Coach Steve Money here. And if you are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me. Just email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can also use that same email address for any questions about anything on my YouTube channel or any financial stuff or financial coaching stuff. That would be fine. Donations, paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, CashApp at $, Coach Steve Money. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. That same email address. Upcoming streams, and that is subject to change. And I did not add next week's stuff yet. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show, that's 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And we did the Thursday and Friday ones, today being Friday. Oh, and I guess I don't know which days. Probably most of the mornings next week, I think. Answering your financial question streams, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Sunday, September 14th. Plus, on Saturday, September 13th, there's that special 4 p.m. stream, as it says, Saturday, September 13th. Okay, so I'll update that with next week's. But probably pretty much every weekday next week, there will be an after show. Alrighty. At least that's the plan right now. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.